رسمت حكاياتها على مر العصور أسطورة أصبحت أشبه بيقين تتوارثه الأجيال. وعلى شواطئها رويت القصص عن الوحش القابع بصمت في الأعماق. لوخ نيس أو لوك نيس باللغة الإنجليزية بحيرة نسجت عن وحشها الحكايا على طول الوادي العظيم وسط اسكتلندا شمال المملكة المتحدة، وتعدته لتتحول إلى لغز عالمي ما زال غامضا رغم محاولات الكشف العلمية عنه.
If we were to sail across the Loch Ness monster, if she herself, Nisi herself, swam under the boat right now, we would see her on this, and how it would look would be like a kind of red dot about the size of my nail.
أول تسجيل تاريخي حول هذا الوحش ورد ضمن سيرة القديس كولومبا في القرن السادس الميلادي، وتقول سردية القديس أن الوحش عض سباحا وكان مستعدا لمهاجمة آخر لولا تدخل كولومبا الذي أمر الوحش بالتوقف والتراجع فأطاعه.
If we're going to see anything in the loch, now is the time, so it's perfect weather.
أما الرواية الشعبية لجيران البحيرة فإن خروج الوحش من مخبئه يتطلب طقسا يسوده الصمت، حيث تتوقف الطبيعة عن الحركة، فتسكن المياه والرياح، وتستعد الجبال لترديد زمجرة الوحش عند ظهوره.
If you want to see a Nessie, you have to wait for calm weather.
So just now it's about as deep down as that hilltop is behind us, is high up.
ومع أن السردية الشعبية تحمل بين طياتها الكثير من الخوف، لكنها لم تذكر أن وحش البحيرة اعتدى على جيرانه من البشر أو أصاب أحدهم بمكروه.
It's the most iconic photo associated with Loch Ness, and it sparks, it basically set the whole world crazy as soon as a photo.
جيران بدورهم جعلوا منه رمزا لمنطقتهم وموروثهم الشعبي، وكأنه رد جميل وتناغم بين الإنسان والطبيعة.
Yeah, what we used to do growing up with our children was if they were naughty, we would say to them, the monster will come and get you.
فالحكاية الغامضة لهذا الوحش شهرت هذه المنطقة المنسية في أقاصي اسكتلندا، وجلبت لها السياح ومحبي القصص الغامضة والمشوقة.
And in fact we did find a monster, and there's a picture of it right there.
The Loch Ness Monster is often called Nessie, and it is simply this. The name of the loch, Loch Ness, has the feminine diminutive, Nessie. So it's a female form derived from the name of the loch.
So Loch Ness, we're in here. It's 23 miles long, but it's only on average a mile wide, a kilometre and a half wide. So it's very long and it's very thin, and of course it's very deep as well. The loch is situated along what's called the Great Glen, and the word glen is a Scottish word. It means a steep-sided valley, and well, you can see that's what we have. And Loch Ness is one of 5 lochs in total that run along the Great Glen.
We grew up with the Loch Ness Monster It was always been part of our life, you know. It been people in the local press, some tourists saw it. So the whole time we've been conscious of the fact that there is something in the water here, can't be explained, quite large, and regularly seen by people who report it. You know, so it's
I grew up beside the loch, and my house is not that far away from here. And when I was younger, I used to do a lot of fishing down by the loch itself. And obviously, when you're younger, you've got a lot more imagination. But a lot of the time, when I was at the loch, even if I was fishing, part of me always thought that there was something else in the loch. But I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was, even if it was real or not. You always felt that there was something in the water. Yeah, so we're just heading off down to the loch to go and see if we can try and find, well, yeah, I'm going to try and show you Nessy. Yeah, the weather's just started to clear up now, so as we're getting closer, we can see that it's a lot flatter, and if we're going to see anything in the loch, now is the time. So it's perfect weather.
If you want to see a Nessy, you have to wait for calm weather. Okay, no waves, because that's when all the big illusions happen. That's when the boat wakes are prominent, and you will see them as a series of humps. That's when the water birds will look bigger than they actually are. You have to wait for what the old investigators used to call Nessy weather.
So right now, the loch is calm and there's not many waves, and this is often when people see Nessy. Nessy is not seen on a day with waves. She is often seen on days when it's been completely flat calm.
In the 90s and the first 10 years of this century, we concentrated on conventional science, because in many ways it can illuminate what is going on in Loch Ness. Sometimes the water can move against the wind, and that means that objects on the surface can be drawn against the wind, and when you see them, you think, well, that looks like a log, but it can't be a log because it's swimming against the wind. Of course it's not. The water is moving against the wind. And that's one of those special physical things, and an example of where a bit of conventional science actually illuminates the mystery rather more than standing there with a camera and a pair of binoculars.
It's just a big expanse of water, very mysterious, very deep, and nobody has yet proved that there is no monster. There are people, you know, who try to come up here to show that it's just it doesn't exist. But the loch is so deep and so mysterious.
So we can actually see the bottom on this bit of equipment here. This is an echo sounder. So what this is doing is tracking the depth for us. So when we want to know how deep it is, it's this number here. So right now we're 207 meters deep. So that's from the boat right to the bottom right now. But what we're seeing here as well is the bottom. So this dark line. But what we're seeing is that as we've sailed along, we're coming along this way. So the boat's moving this direction. Here's the boat on the top right now. This is live on the bottom right now. And what this is showing us is that as we've sailed along this way, from here on, the loch bottom drops very quickly, very steeply down. And that's as we're sailing away from the edge. As we come out into the middle, however, look how flat it is. So as we sail along now, the depth isn't really going to change as we come across the loch. And in fact, if we carried on right across, what would happen was we would then see it coming back up this same angle. So that shows us the kind of profile of the loch. You know, really steep sides and flat on the bottom.
Throughout the 70s, I used underwater techniques, both the manned observation chamber and underwater television. In the 80s, we used sonar here at Loch Ness. It culminated in Operation Deep Scan in 1987, which had a lot of boats and a lot of sonars. We've got a few contacts we don't quite understand, but doesn't mean we never will understand them.
Echo sounders have been used since the 1980s as a way of using sonar to look into Loch Ness. And here at the project, one of the things we did, Operation Deep Scan, Adrian, I'm sure, would have talked to you about it, dragging a sonar curtain. So sonar's improved a lot since then. And in fact, we did find a monster. And there's a picture of it right there. If you tilt your head a little bit, you see this is the body here. So there's that part is 10 meters long. And then another long round neck. It's your perfect image of the Loch Ness Monster, really. So that's the monster we found about 3 miles down the loch behind us there, but 200 meters down on the bottom.
The logo of the monster. That is based upon the surgeon's photograph of 1934. A surgeon, a London surgeon called Wilson, actually took that picture, and that is why we use it as a logo, because there have been other more honest sightings of pretty much the same thing.
As locals, we know the area, so this story has been told us from a young age. We knew about St. Columba, we knew that he came here, and we knew that he banished it into the depths.
St. Columba was a missionary, so he came from Ireland, and he came to try and convert the Highlands of Scotland to Christianity, and ultimately he succeeded in doing that. But in the books about him, it said that he was traveling along the Great Glen here, this valley, and he was on the shore of Loch Ness. It was the year 565, and the books say that he was on the shoreline. He saw this great beast, a monster, appeared in the water. So St. Columba, he actually spoke to the monster. He then blessed it. And then he chased the monster back into the deep, dark water we have here. So that was our first recorded sighting. And of course, well, that's a saint after all. We've got to believe him, haven't we? We've got to trust him.
Yeah, so these religious stories of the area, they're ancient. And they do give Scotland and Loch Ness, they give us a sense of history. You know, we are a place, this is an old place, it's pretty much prehistoric. You know, there's myths, there's dinosaurs allegedly in the loch. So this story makes us feel a lot more connected to the earth, and it gives us stories that we can pass on to other generations as well.
Most of the visitors who come to us do not believe in Loch Ness monsters, but they know how important this place is. It's a famous place, and they are curious as to what it is that the mystery is, and that is what we try and explain.
A lot of people didn't want this place to become a commercialized place, like a Nessie hunting ground. But the knock-on effect from that has been brilliant, because we get investments here, businesses start up, we get lots of hotels, exhibition centres, and what it does is it brings a lot more, not just money, but good energy to the area.
Inverness, as the Highland capital, provides a lot of the employment. In a village like this, places like this make their own contribution. So on this site here, for example, yes, we have the exhibition staff, but we also have the shop staff, the franchisees, the hotel.
So today I thought to come to Loch Ness because I wanted to bring this Loch Ness monster back to its home. And I thought, you know what, today's a beautiful day here in Scotland, why not do it? I flew all the way here from the US just to be here for this evening and having a good time doing it.
So I've lived in the area around Loch Ness for about 35, 36 years. Obviously, Nessie is a big part of Loch Ness, and it's what it's famous for, not just its beauty, but for the Nessie. We sell lots of products in the shop to tourists and locals alike. Nessie is like this Nessie, which, I think is a good design for Nessie. I think, that's what Nessie should look like. These are lotion bars, so they're all made locally. Most of the products in the shop are made locally.
There's people make models of them and sell them. The children know all about it, or the children do all know about it, because it is part of their culture, the way they're brought up. They're brought up to believe that the monster's there, and they'll pass it on in time to come. And that's the way it's been passed on through the generations. I think from the 14th century, it's been passed on.
I've heard about Nessie for a long time. Ever since I was a little child, I used to watch TV programs and the myth hunters and mythbusters, those kind of things. So yeah, I've always been interested. I've always been interested in the monster. It's just a case of whether he exists. I'm sure he does.
I am employed here at the exhibition centre because of the story of Nessie. There's many other people employed here, and most of the jobs in the village do come from tourism, and the tourists come here to see the monster, and because of the story of Nessie.
I believe it's a very good, either is it true or a story. I believe that is good for the area and for the tourism especially, because most of the people who are coming in the area, of course they are coming for the nice nature, but definitely most of the people are coming and hoping to see the Loch Ness monster.
I was in the hotel business, and I discovered that so many people were coming over here from America, Australia, New Zealand, coming back here to find out the families, and they were very interested to find out the coat of arms and the history of the family. And we do something like that, which gives you the coat of arms and the history of the name.
If you grow up here, you know there's a legend about the monster. When you're a kid, your dream is to see the monster. I never saw it, unfortunately, but yeah, you hear it.
Well, for me, yeah, living here, working here, well, have a look. Is that not the best office you could imagine, really? Look, the beauty of the place, its natural beauty, a big bit of water, lots of mystery, lots of excitement out here.
I guess for me, because I've been here for so long, I'm just used to it. So I wouldn't really call it strange. But there's definitely a sense of excitement or mystery around the village. If the mystery wasn't here, then this would just be another small Scottish village. But the story of Nessy and the mystery, it gives a meaning to the village. And people can say, I'm from Drumnajarket, I see Nessy every day.
Humans want to believe something, that there's more to life than just the mundane 9 to 5, just the work life. And when we have these things, these supernatural occurrences, these mysteries, like the Loch Ness Monster, it makes life a lot more exciting, a lot more thrilling, and it really gets us, it gives us a good story to tell as well, even if it's true or not. It's an amazing story, and it brings people to the area and brings life here. I think what the lake means to me is probably mystery. And about the unknown as well, like human imagination, not knowing that you saw something, but not being able to put your finger on exactly what it was. I think that's what the loch means to me.
So here at the project now, we've been working out here for over 40 years. And during those years, we've really worked everywhere around Loch Ness, you know, even the hills and the rivers surrounding us. And for us out here, it's really all about understanding Loch Ness and what's going on in this big bit of water. Are there any monsters here? You know, that is something we've worked on over the years. For us, it's about finding a monster, but not directly just standing, sitting and watching, but learning and understanding as well.
Perhaps what drew me to the Scottish Lochs was not something that I have actually discovered in the flesh, as it were. But I have, I think, got most of the answers to the true mystery, which is a question of what people were seeing in Loch Ness. And at the same time, I've had a great deal of fun.
I'm definitely grateful to Nessy. He's provided a lot of jobs for us here as well, which is good. And he always brings something for people to talk about as well. So it's often brought up in conversation, and it's cool having a myth right on your doorstep.